Hi, everybody. We are Cindy Lewis-Caballero and Sandie Orlando. We are endurance coaches from CL Performance Training, and we're proud to say that for 2023, we are one of the coaching sponsors of Multisport Canada. We look forward to seeing you guys out there in the races this summer season, and hopefully meeting some of you and high-fiving you as you cross that finish line this year. So we do endurance coaching of athletes all over the world, but primarily athletes in Canada and the USA. We do it primarily virtually through the Training Peaks app, which some of you may be aware of, building plans for people who want to achieve a goal in triathlon, running, cycling, adventure racing, ultra running, or any other endurance-based sport.
Mm-hmm. And we want to make sure that you know that we coach everyone from newbies doing their first try to people who are training for the full distance courses or looking to qualify for some of the worlds and that sort of thing. So we've got a whole range of people that we work with and coach, and there's a lot of good reasons for you to have a coach, and we'll talk about that at the end. But first, we're going to talk about the top tips for approaching your training this season.
Yes. So tip number one, build your season same way as you build your fitness. Start with shorter races and build towards your longer distances. So if you're someone who's training for an Olympic distance race, throw in a try maybe, a sprint or two before you get to that Olympic, just to practice your mental headspace, practice your aid stations, practice your transitions, things like that before you get to the goal day. And choose your races in a way that gives you one or maybe two A races over the season, and look at the other ones as B or C races, which are basically just for practice for the most important races of your season. You can't do every race as an A race, or you won't race to your own potential.
Second tip is your foundation training should be underway. If it's not, it's time to get onto it. That's the foundation training is for fitness and durability, so that you're not getting injured. Right now, you're not worried about getting into your intensity and your speed. You're building strength plus endurance, and the speed comes later.
Mm-hmm. And think of triathlon training as more than just a few months or a year. Think of it more than your annual training program. Think of triathlon training, if you do want to achieve your potential, as more of a 5-year plan. Skill development will happen over several seasons when we have 3 different sports. In the beginning, you can improve in all 3 at the same time, but as you become a better endurance athlete, it works better and you'll improve the most if you can focus on one of the 3 at a time. And that doesn't mean just doing one at a time, but it means the quality, most of your focus happens in one, and then you transition to the other, and then the other, and then you bring them all together in your race season. So think of triathlon training to reach your potential as more of a 5-year plan than a 1-year plan.
And you're going to use your off season to work on your weaknesses. So if you have a really strong bike skills and you're okay at the run, leverage that for this season, and then focus during the off season, as in the winter, on swimming. And that helps to round out that package as well. Mm-hmm. The other thing that you want to pay attention to is nutrition, and that's not just nutrition on race day. That's nutrition to support your training as well as your performance. So you're needing to clean up your diet at this point. Take a look at, if you've got a few pounds from the winter time, they'll start to come off, but pay attention a little bit more to that clean eating, so that you've got endurance for your race, but also for your training and your recovery from your training. The other part about that is practicing what's going to be used on the race course and the logistics of how you're going to do it. So your body's not shocked when you're all of a sudden taking in different hydration or nutrition on race day. Your stomach can handle it, but also you know how you're going to get that in, what you're going to carry, for example, with your hydration when you're running.
Mm-hmm. And take a look at the gear that you're using. Make sure that you're practicing in the gear that you're going to race in. And by that, I mean, if you're going to do a triathlon and you're going to use a triathlon bike, practice on your triathlon bike as you get closer and closer to the race. Practicing the position on the bike that you're going to be using in the race, which means don't get a bike fit the week or 2 before your event. Get it now so that you have the next bunch of months to get your muscles used to that position, get them strong, and get them powerful in that position. Same thing goes for your shoes. Don't change your running shoes just before the race. Make sure that you're used to everything. You've had a chance to practice in it, train in it before you get to that key day.
That also includes wetsuit. If you're going to be doing, especially with an earlier season race, you want to make sure that you've got a wetsuit that you've swam in before and you've gotten in the water and actually done a swim, and you don't have any unpleasant surprises with either swimming in it or getting it off during your transition. The other thing to think about is training, whether to train with a group or to train solo. And sometimes that can happen only because of lifestyle. But if we're only training with groups, sometimes we're not observing our own plan and what we need from our workout. And we're not necessarily getting the mental strength that we need in order to figure out how you're going to make it through your race, because you're racing solo. So if you are always training and relying on having a group with you and going at their pace on the bike or going at their pace on the run, you may not know how to challenge yourself when it comes down to it on race day. Having said that, it's a good idea to train with a group for open water swimming, certainly. And if you're training with a group that's getting out regularly to help keep you motivated or to challenge you a little bit in terms of your pace sometimes when you're out on your fast days and that, or your long days to keep you going, that can be helpful. Just pay attention to the balance for both of those.
And then lastly, on our list for today is consider getting a coach. We'll list a few of the reasons why. And if you'd like to connect with us to discuss whether or not a coach would be good for you, we're happy to talk to you more about your own specific situation. You can contact us at clperformancetraining@gmail.com. But some of the key reasons for getting a coach include the fact that it takes the guesswork and the planning out of what you need to do. Training for triathlon takes a lot of time, takes a lot of mind power, right? Takes a lot of mental and physical strength. So if you can take away that piece of like, when should I do what? How am I going to build my plan to achieve my goal? That puts a lot of your effort now just into accomplishing the day-to-day stuff. One of the next reasons would be it takes advantage of someone's education and experience. So Sandie and I both have education and how to be a coach. I have a university degree in kinesiology. We have a lot of background, a lot of personal interest reading that we've done, a lot of education on the topics. You can trust what we have to say and a number of the other coaches around. So you don't have to go and research all that stuff, look it up, take a guess at what should happen. We're there to make sure that you're doing the right thing at the right time based on your goals and your own schedule.
I think one of the big parts about that is it's unique and one-on-one kind of coaching. So downloading a training plan will give you an idea of what the training should be for that particular distance. But it's not specific to what you're going through. If you miss a workout, if you have an injury, if you're not sure how far apart you should be putting your races together or your long runs, and if you have to travel, any of the things that might interrupt it. If you're going strictly on a downloaded plan, then there's nobody saying, well, maybe you should think about doing this to prevent overtraining. Or if you're not doing enough, maybe think a little bit about getting back on track.
Yep. And having a coach gives you a positively biased and knowledgeable training partner. Speaking of training partners, someone who understands you and your progress well enough that they can give you encouragement, they can give you sound advice, they can pull you back when you might be doing too much, but they can also, with a smile, give you a good, strong butt kicking that they know your body can handle and they know will drive you forward in your training.
Right. So that's really good reasons for you to consider coaching, but also a lot of ideas for getting onto your training and some tips. So we're going to be having some of these sessions as we go along on CL Performance Training website, as well as blog posts, and we'll be reaching out to you through Multisport Canada's emails so that you will get more information from us. So we'll be putting lots out there over the course of the time. And in the meantime, happy training, and we'll see you at the races.
Yes. And if you want to make sure that you don't miss anything, because we do put a lot out that Multisport Canada may not get, follow our social pages. We're CL Performance Training on Facebook and Instagram. Follow our website for any blog posts that we put up or information on new training camps coming up. That's clperformancetraining.com. And again, email us at any time with any of your questions at clperformancetraining@gmail.com. Have a great day, and we look forward to seeing you guys in the coming months.